All right, so VP Ed, what's after the VP Ed? So now we've got the plan in place. So who was the first officer again that they touch? Okay, so the secretary. Let's talk about the secretary. Then we'll talk about the president. So I have the secretary as being the second last person in the role in the circle of membership or guest to member responsibility. What does a secretary do? Not all sorry, who said minutes of meetings? Yeah, minutes of meetings. That's kind of communication, but the minutes of the meeting. So it's keeping the minutes of the meetings. The official description is keeping the minutes of the meetings. It doesn't say keeping the minutes of the executive meetings. It doesn't say keeping the minutes of the business meetings. It says keeping the minutes of the meetings. That's a very important distinction because every meeting you have, if you meet weekly, that is a meeting. Whether you have a business meeting associated with it or not, that is a meeting. So it's important that you understand that the responsibility is for the secretary to keep records of that. Now, did you know that? What records might you keep of a regular meeting? Yes. This isn't rocket science. It's just what happened during the meeting. Now, many clubs do this automatically. One of the simplest ways to do this is through what tool? EasySpeak. Or if you have scheduling in FreeToast, there's another tool there that automatically captures who you have done. Now, EasySpeak's a little better in that regard because it captures you. It forces you to correct things if there's been a change in the meeting, in the actual meeting versus what was planned. So it gives you an opportunity to capture that information. But there's a tool. Most clubs send out a little note at the end of the meeting or within a day saying, here's what transpired during the meeting. That's a record of what happened. The secretary should keep a record of that. Whether they do it or not, whether they're the ones who are sending it out, they don't have to be the ones sending it out, they should be keeping a record of that. Now we're going to be implementing a new program in District 21 that I initiated and we got it voted on at the district committee meeting about a few weeks ago, which is going to be having a leadership award. Each club will be entitled to appoint or anoint or submit a leadership award for their club, for the best leader in their club. And this person will receive a nice little pin, much like this one, only it'll say where leaders are made, Toastmasters where leaders are made, and that person will get recognition that will be published on the district website and a little short bio from each one of the clubs as to who those people were and why they were the leader, they were chosen as the best leader in the club. Many reasons why we're doing this, doesn't matter, but someone's going to be responsible, the secretary is going to be responsible for tracking the performance of each of the members to make sure that a person is chosen objectively, not subjectively, not as a popularity contest, but by their attendance, their activities as a leader. And we have very specific criteria. The club can modify it to make it specific to their own club, but we want to have an objective criteria. That's one of the things that the secretary should be doing anyway. So we're saying, here's something that they can do and track that. A lot of clubs have a Toastmaster of the Year award program based on members stepping up and taking on leadership roles, doing things like giving speeches, winning contests, doing things, just getting out there. This is specifically focused on leadership, though. So that's coming up. So the secretary is responsible for that. What other role and responsibility does the secretary have besides the minutes? Sorry? Agenda? Not necessarily. Typically not. It could be, but they might have they keep the minutes of the old ones, especially for the business meetings. What else? A who? Roster? Yes, they have to submit the roster. This is the club membership roster or the club executive roster that has to be submitted to the district, to the international. What else do they have to do? There's a couple more things.
Attendance? Is part of the attendance? Maybe it's part of the minutes.
That's part of the minutes. Yeah. Two more things. I keep forgetting one. Sorry? Yes. They are a vote. They have a vote at the international convention. Not at the district conference, but they have a vote at the international convention. They have a vote. Now, often they don't go. They'll send their proxy to a district director or someone who's going that will be able to carry the vote for them. But they have a vote at the international convention. Pretty cool. Why do they have a vote at the international convention? Well, they're one of the few people that know what's going on in the club because they're tracking the minutes. They know what's going on in the club. They should have a sensitivity to what's going on as far as the membership goes. They're not a very political role. It's a good one, just keeping the pulse of what's going on in the club. Now, they have one other role. This is on a regular basis. Anyone know what that is? It's a big one, though. Big one? No one? Okay, same role that the VP Education has, and the President has it.
Bring coffee.
Base Camp Manager. In Pathways, you need to have someone who can approve you when you've completed a level. When you've completed a level in Pathways, you need someone to approve that you have completed that level. Only 3 club officers are allowed to be the Base Camp Manager. They are the Secretary, the VP Ed, and the President. Why is the Secretary a Base Camp Manager? Because they keep the records. They know what's going on in the club. That's why they're a Base Camp Manager. Okay, and the VP Ed obviously should know what's going on, but the VP Ed is away or ineffective, which we had a problem with one club I belonged to. They weren't approving anybody. The Secretary can do that, or the President can do that. Okay, so now let's look at the last role.